can't control and surrender at the same time.
Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we'll be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say.
Hello, my lovers. Oh my God, I am so fucking excited to be back. I feel like I've been MIA, so welcome back to my podcast, basically. I have been a busy fucking bee, and I feel like I need to give you guys kind of a recap. Like, what even was my last episode? I need to look on my phone. I feel like it's been forever. It's probably been like a week. I want to firstly apologize for my sick voice, but we're just going to totally roll with it because hashtag me being authentic. And I actually got really sick after I moved from Sydney. So quick update, I'm now in Melbourne. I don't live in Melbourne. I'm actually living in America from now on. Well, not from now because I still have a week here in Melbourne. Basically, I was in Paris. You guys saw that. Okay. Oh, my last one was We Don't Need a Bleed, a claim from The Guardian. That was a good fucking episode. And the one before that was Paris. Some of you guys have asked, what did I learn from Paris? I'm going to run over that today as well. But I want to talk about the energy of August. We're going to talk about the moon. We're going to talk about me moving and how a emotional and spiritual release can now become a physical release. And all these juicy things, because I came back from Paris and unfortunately my manager, her dad got really, really sick. Anyway, long story short, she had to be MIA looking after her dad, which I'm all for. So I basically was trying to be a uni student. My assistant was away for 4 days. I was trying to be a uni student, an assistant, a coach, and a manager all at the same time. And to say I was slightly stressed would be an understatement. I was very fucking stressed. I kind of, the whole week and a half or something that I was in Sydney was an absolute blur because I was also obviously flying to Melbourne to do my Melbourne event, which was amazing. Thank you to everybody that came and cried and laughed and played. It was fucking incredible. If you guys haven't bought your tickets to the New York one, do whatever it takes to get there. Like, I'm not saying that just to be like, yeah, do whatever it takes and I'm just going to like sell you onto something else. No, this is not this is the 3 days isn't actually about me like promoting anything. It's actually, because I'm actually like, oh, I did it at a bad time because like I don't have anything to run after November, lol. So like I'm literally not promoting anything. You can join a course for the next year, but there'll be nothing special, not that I know of yet. Anyway, maybe something will be pulled out of my ass when I'm on the toilet, because whenever I'm on the toilet taking a poo, I always get a download. Always. Like, it's like I'm letting one thing out, letting a new thing in. It's beautiful. Anyway, so if you haven't got a ticket to the New York event, I seriously from the bottom of my heart would do anything to get there. Like, I mean anything. Make sure that you're in the Facebook group as well so that you can like meet with other girls and share accommodation or whatever if it's going to make it cheaper for you. Anyway, beside the point being, you need to get your ass to the New York event because it is going to be 33 hours. We're doing 3 full days of the most transformational work you've ever done in your fucking life. I literally cannot effing wait. And I keep getting these amazing ideas of like things to be doing for embodiment practices and release practices. And I'm like, fuck, yes, it's going to be so lit. Anyway, so make sure that if you haven't already checked out the dope video, the promo video, make sure you do that. My editor spent so long. Like, she was like, boyfriend, go away. Like, her boyfriend would come home and he'd be like, fuck, the boyfriend's home. I'm like, tell him goodbye. Like, keep working. Sorry. It's an amazing video, so make sure that you go check it out because lots of hard work is put into that. Go check out the sales page. I'll leave everything in the description. Anyway, so between Melbourne and then I had to fly to Brisbane to do my amazing Brisbane event. So lovely meeting all of you girls as well. I was pretty effing drained and exhausted by the end of it, and it wasn't because I was not looking after myself. I was looking after myself during the process. It was actually just that I literally had too much on my plate that I couldn't actually handle it all because I need help. And now I'm at a point in my business where I really am hiring help because I can't thrive as a coach if I'm not getting other people to do the things that don't make me feel like I'm thriving, aka emails and admin. Not my forte, or anything strategy and brain related, not my forte. So basically I came back from Paris. The main lesson that I learned from Paris was I had a massive upgrade in my feminine energy and my wealth frequency. I had my biggest month ever, and I didn't even think it was possible to get this big. Like literally, I wrote it in my journal and I was like, yeah, as if that's gonna happen. Like I like the how is like I actually don't know how, and even still, I'm like, if someone told me how did you make that much, I'd actually be like, I don't actually know. Like, and that's half the fun of it, that I really don't focus on a how. I just set the intention and it literally happens. Ultimate manifestation powers, and I love it when I get to teach you guys about this as well. So that was Paris. And I obviously had my major meltdown, and one of the biggest lessons about that was actually that I needed help. Like it was a massively big realization that I need a manager, and not just like a little manager. Like I need a full-time life manager, someone that even organizes my travel itinerary. It's like what time you're leaving, what time you wake up, what time you fucking brush your teeth. Because what's really apparent to me, and the more and more I do this work, it's become really apparent. Paris was like a big moment where it became apparent, is the feminine likes to surrender, okay? The more you surrender, the more magical you're going to get. So the more I surrender, the more embodied I am in my creativity and my magic, right? It's very fucking hard to be single, traveling, and running a business and surrender at the same time. Like there needs to be control, okay? So what then happens is I'm trying to control things to get myself to feel safe, because I obviously like controlling things. We all need to have an element of control in our lives, or we would probably not be very safe. But then when I'm controlling, I can't surrender. Like you can't control and surrender at the same time. It's like trying to have freedom and security. Like you can't have both at the same time. And this is why having a manager, like the manager's like my man, right? Because when I'm with a man, I fully fucking surrender. Like I'm so fucking surrendered. It's like people might look at me and go, she's very submissive. I'm not submissive. I'm very strong, but I'm surrendering purposely. Anyway, so in order for me to be in my magic, I need to surrender, but then I need somebody else in control. So Paris really taught me like how much I need help. And then Brisbane, when I was in Brisbane, I flew my photographer Morgan to Brisbane, and she did all my stuff there, which is amazing. She's awesome. She's actually coming to New York with me. So if any of you want a photo shoot with her in New York, make sure that you send me a message. Just email me manager@monicayates.com.au, and we'll get back to you. Or email Morgan, go on her Instagram. You'll see she's tagged all my pictures, and just DM her. But if you can't find her, email me and I'll pass her on to you. I'll pass you on to her. Anyway, and she really helped me in Brisbane. Like she was the controlled person. Like she was controlling everything, telling me when to wake up. She was like fucking rubbing Balance essential oil on my temples. Like anyway, she was like my manager, and it felt so fucking good. It felt so good because I could surrender and just be so in my fucking feminine. It was amazing. And she was controlling everything. Although I did leave my top in the hotel room, but I got that back. But she was controlling everything. Also, the men at that hotel were so effing sexy. It was just amazing. It was amazing. Anyway, so I really like it when other people get to control, because then I can surrender, and it's just a feminine and masculine thing. So point being, Paris really taught me how much I actually need help, and how if I want to grow my business, I cannot keep doing it without having somebody else doing all of the admin things and all of the shit that I don't want to do, basically. Because you do hit a point in your business where you need somebody else. You don't need that to start off with by any means, but you'll need it at a point, because you can't keep growing without having somebody else doing the help. Like this round of the mastermind, I think I have like 18 women in it. That's a lot, right? But I can't do that without having somebody else doing all the behind the scenes stuff that I don't need to do. So that was my Paris lesson, for those of you that were asking, because there's quite a few of you that asked, so maybe I didn't make that clear in the last episode. Anyway, I want to talk about, I got back from Paris, did Melbourne and Brisbane, and then I had to move from Sydney. That was stressful. If anybody's ever moved before in their life, they know that it is stressful. And I don't pack. I'm not the most I don't love packing. I've always had a problem with packing. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. One sec. I don't know what it is. I just suck at packing. Now I'm really good at packing when I'm going traveling, because I just dump things in a suitcase. And I've really come to this conclusion that I need to have less clothes but more high quality ones, so that I can just be packing the same shit and I never have to really decide. It's just throw it in. This is my winter wardrobe, dump it in a suitcase. This is my summer wardrobe, dump that in a suitcase. Anyway, so I moved on. The removals were coming Wednesday, and I only started packing on Tuesday morning. My friend came over, Britt, who I need to get on for Cacao and Convos. Hey, Britt. And she was like, what the fuck, Monica, you've done nothing. And she was so fucking stressed. And then I had dinner or something with, no, I had a elixir or something with, yeah, I was at Orchard Street with Asti, Liv, and Britt the day before I left. Unfortunately, Morgan couldn't be there because she was working. And both both Liv and Britt were like, because they both came over to help me, and they were like, I had so much anxiety walking into Monica's apartment because nothing had been done. Anyway, I got all done at the end. It was fine. Point being, as soon as the removalists came, it was this ginormous release. I got sick, like, straight away. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And you know when you get so sick that you, like, can't even breathe? And all you want to do is, like, do anything to make it go away. Like, I couldn't even swallow. I just felt so fucking gross. It was like, nobody come near me. Nobody fucking touch me. I just want to curl up in a ball and make this go away. That was literally me on Wednesday night after the removalists had been so effing sick. I went to Britt's house and she was doing a cacao ceremony and I fell asleep at like literally 7:30 p.m. Like I was exhausted. I slept nearly for a whole 12 hours that night. Anyway, so I just wanted to talk about this because that was like a massive release from Sydney. And after that move from Sydney, I feel like I got a ginormous fucking upgrade. And I went to go have a kinesiology session with my kinesiologist, Shadi, which I will put in the description. She's amazing. I refer everybody to her. And I'm actually going to have her on the podcast to talk about like past life stuff. I went to her and she was like, holy fuck, Sydney does not like you. And there was just like, so we just like got a lot of shit out from Sydney basically. And then we were doing a whole part of like past life stuff and I was like flying around in this like whole new dimension. It was really, really crazy, but fucking awesome at the same time. Anyway, so I want to talk about this move from Sydney because I wanted to, like, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you're letting go of something, your body can also let go. And I had a client that then messaged me, which was a past client that messaged me saying like, oh my God, so interesting. I just quit my job and that week I got really, really sick or something, I think she said. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's no surprise. Like, I'm not surprised that I got sick after Sydney because one, I was running on so much fucking adrenaline and I was getting to a point where I was going into low cortisol because once your cortisol's high for a very long time, ladies, this happens a lot with people, that your cortisol's high for a really long time, that it goes then into low cortisol. It's like, fuck this, you're not listening to me. We're just going to drop off completely. And then you struggle to get through the days and you keep crashing after like 2 hours of being awake. That's low cortisol, where you keep wanting to sleep and then you'll have this like massive like you'll have this massive burst of energy at nighttime. That's low cortisol. Okay, so I was dipping into low cortisol, which is obviously really, really bad for your hormones. So Sydney was just like a massive letting go thing. And I also want to talk about the energy that August brings in. You know what's funny? So I got sick the day in Sydney and the next day I got my period. The day that I came into Melbourne, I started spotting or like getting the signs of my period in the morning, and then by like midday it was like full blown period. So that was also a physical release, right? My coach had this as well. She just moved from Vail to, which is in Colorado, to Las Vegas, and the day that she moved she got a period as well. Massive effing release. Okay, it's no surprise your period can become like a physical manifestation of like an energetic or emotional release for you. Now, what's also funny was that this is no surprise or no coincidence that I moved on the black moon, the new moon, right? When there's two new moons in August, and this one was the black moon. Okay, the one that happened a couple of days ago. When right now we're on the 5th of August 2019. No surprise that I moved out on the black moon, right? New moon, got my period and got sick. Talk about a letting go, bringing in the new. Like, what the fuck? And I did not plan my move date to be the new moon, but it just happened to be, which I just think is such a beautiful, not coincidence, but synchronicity, right? Absolutely no surprise. So that was just beautiful, right? In the middle of the year, a lot of people are finding that the middle of the year can turn into like a bit of a downward phase, and a lot of us stop looking after ourselves. And we stop doing the things that get us into high vibe states. I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. Right. First thing, August. July was a fucking hard month for a lot of us. Agreed? A fucking agreed. It was a really, really hard month for a lot of people. And, oh my God, my new person that I just hired just sent me an email at 9/11, which is very funny because my angel number's 9/11. Anyway, I just quickly saw that. So July was a really hard time for all of us because, not for all of us, but for a lot of us, right? I don't know anyone that didn't have a hard time in July. We had a fucking eclipse. We had a but we had fucking Mercury retrograde, which I know all about, and it was a very intense month. It was a very fucking intense month for me, right? And a lot of like things that hit the fan, not in comparison to some other people, but I really don't like it when my clients do the comparisonitis thing with other people because like, oh, my life's not bad enough, so I can't complain. No, if it's a change in your reality, then you feel it. Like that's the truth, okay? So I'm glad that July is fucking over. August is the highest vibrational month of the year, and it's a beautiful month. You should start to, ladies, prepare for awakenings and awareness and transcending old stuff and new opportunities and new offers. And you might start to feel disconnected from some people and a really strong connection to other people. Vivid dreams might be. I had a really vivid dream last night. What was it? It was a really good one too. And then my alarm went off and it fucked me. Don't you hate that? Oh, I was in a jail or something, but there was a really sexy guy that was talking to me. That's right. What the fuck was happening? Can't remember, but I was in a jail somewhere, a police station. Anyway, super random. So back to August, you might start to feel a stronger connection to others and you might have very vivid dreams and also increased clarity. If you have felt like you're put through the ringer in July, you're not alone, okay? Mercury retrograde had a shit show, had us in a shit show, as well as a lunar eclipse. The energy was intense and a lot of shadows were emerging for people. July was really a month where a lot of us felt like we hit some sort of rock bottom. But guys, a rock bottom is so good because it allows you to come up, especially into the energy of August. Rock bottoms can be so effing helpful because you realize and you discover so much when you hit a rock bottom. Okay. Now, coming to the middle of the year, so June, July, people often really, I don't want to say fall off the bandwagon, but like they can go into more of a downward phase. Now, the law of like, we live in a world where there's cycles, okay? We are cyclical beings. There is summer and winter, there's spring and fall. So we have downward phases. I don't really like it when we say we've fallen off the bandwagon because it's like you haven't fallen off anything. You're just in a downward spiral. But in a downward spiral, there's always an upturn, much like the economy. The economy goes down and it comes back up always, okay? Even like money flows in, money flows out. It's always moving, okay? And we are cyclical beings. If you have felt like you have really like stopped looking after yourself and you're really in this downward rut, you need to start doing the things that get you more into a high vibe state, okay? Whether that means going to events, going on holidays, whatever it is, do the things that make you get into a high vibe state. For me, events and being in person with people really, really help that. So like when I go to like 3-day events or networking events or 1-day events and I meet other people that are doing the same things as me or on the same journey, it really lights me up and gets that spark back. That's why a lot of people find after they go to like those 3-day events or even a 1-day event of mine, they get this massive fire under their ass. It ignites something within you. Really, really key thing though is those 3-hour events, ladies, that I do, they're fucking amazing. I know you all know that, and they don't last forever. The difference between the 3-hour event and the 33-hour event in New York is in that New York event, I'm not just lighting a fire under your ass for like a little bit of inspiration. I'm actually helping you guys to do all of the work in those 3 days. So you walk out with a changed fucking DNA. That this shit that we're doing in the 3 days isn't about a quick fix, isn't about like, oh, I'm going to feel good for a month. It's about you feeling good for life. So imagine like the mastermind condensed into 3 days, but with way more things in it. That's what we're doing, and a lot of embodiment stuff and a lot of release work and a lot of body work and energetic work. You're not listening to me like just harp on my soapbox for 3 days. That's not what we're doing. We're actually doing a lot of fucking work. That's why it's going to be so effing transformational and like a feminine soul expansion. And I'll do a whole other episode talking more about it and going through all the details for you guys. So that you can get a better idea of it in case you haven't read the sales page. Now, if you have found that you've been in a rut in the middle of the year, also you tend to be in your mind when you're in a rut, okay? If you're in a rut, if you're in a downward spiral and you're beating yourself up about it, you are in your mind, and mind equals time. But when you are present, you don't even know that it's the middle of the year. So you're not then like, oh, it's the middle of the year, life's hard. You're just like, I'm in a downward spiral, right? Or I'm feeling a little bit off this week. And you don't make it mean something it doesn't mean. Because a lot of you guys are going, it's the middle of the year, like, oh my God, I still have 6 months to go. It's like, what the fuck game are you playing? You're in your mind if you're thinking that, because then you are living year by year, day by day on a timeline. Hold on, sip of green tea. Oh guys, if you haven't sent me your questions and put them in the Facebook, in the Instagram question box for my podcast about assumptions about me, make sure you go do that because it's going to be a really fun podcast. And the questions that have already come through are like really funny, which I'm really excited to answer about. I just thought that'd be like a fun, lighthearted podcast. You can all just put your assumptions about me. Also, I am the most like I don't, what's the word? I don't take these personally. So you can put in anything that you want. I'm not going to judge you for it. So please make sure that you're not playing games in your mind, because when you eat in your mind, you are then playing with time. There is no such thing as time. Time is an illusion. There's timing, but there's not time. Fuck, I really hope you guys can understand me because my cold is like really yuck right now and I feel really, really fucking blocked up. So do the things that make you happy. Book New York City if that feels like, if your womb is like, oh, I fucking need that. Do what it takes to get there. The flights are actually really cheap right now from Australia. Do what it takes to get there because you will not regret it. These things that give you an energetic upgrade, holy shit, your life will transform. And this is that then like one of those things that will transform for all of your heads that need this is money, your relationship with money. If you feel like more money is flowing out than in, that's not just like, oh, that's just my luck. No, that is a you thing. You are creating that. So you need to fix it. If you are finding like you only have just enough money, then you need to fix that. You want to be having more money flowing in than what it's going out. If you don't currently have that, work needs to be done. We're going to do like literally a whole fucking day on money because so many of us are blocked about money. And that also relates with your blockages about your sexuality and your sensuality and your feminine energy, okay, and your relationship with yourself. So that's like, I really want you guys to focus about how can I bring more lightness into August? How can I fall more in love with myself? How can I become more intuitive and more witchy and more expansive? And one of those things could literally just be like journaling more, okay? Getting in touch with yourself more, honoring your blood more. So I really, if you saw my Instagram story this morning, I love collecting my blood in a jar, and a lot of my clients now do this and they find it so fucking good. Collecting my blood in a jar, and then you add a little bit of water to it and I pour it in the garden because it's just beautiful to think that is creation, right? Like your period is the lining of your uterus, okay? So that was going to be the home for a baby for 9 effing months, okay? And then obviously you didn't fall pregnant, so there's the lining of your uterus. How beautiful is it to honor that? Instead of flushing it down the fucking toilet, you can honor it by actually using it to manifest and having greater manifestation powers, because it's literal creation in a jar, manifesting with it, because your thoughts create your vibration. So if you're thinking of your manifestations, the thoughts are being like infused and that vibration is being like infused into the blood, and then you pour it back into Mother Earth, and it's like, talk about manifestation fucking powers, right? Do the things that are a little bit outside your comfort zone, but really fucking expansive and really magical, because the more expansive you become, the more magnetic you become, so the more you can attract your dream life and be in your feminine, okay? And the more in your feminine you are, the more in alignment you are, so the easier it is to attract your dream life. And if you are not feeling like your life is fucking easy and this beautiful flow state, and that you're magnetic, you are in your feminine, baby, okay? And I'm really excited for all of you that are starting the next round of the mastermind, round 4, because we start on Sunday, and I am so excited. And then you guys are going to have you're going to have all the other 5 weeks are going to be in America. They're going to be either in Aspen or New York. So talk about high vibrational energy that's going to be like transmuting through the fucking screen and into all of your cells, because we're all connected. So it's going to be fucking amazing. Okay, I'm going to leave the episode there, and I'm going to now record another episode about aligning your period with the moon. I don't want to shove it all into one episode, but I'm going to release quite a few of them this week just to like get you guys back in the flow of things, because I haven't been posting very many, so you guys haven't been able to listen and share them. Please make sure that you share any episodes that you really resonated with. Maybe tag your friends in it, so that we can share the love and get more women falling in love with their cycles, falling in love with being a woman, and creating their dream life, and also hearing to my sick ass voice. I love you all. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to welcome me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about,
any ideas, any feedback. I am always open to it, and I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.